Gerber, Malhotra are a useful starting point. They went out and they got data from a couple of leading political science journals over a long period of time. They look at, the leading statistical tests in those papers, and they just do something really simple and say, what does the distribution of p-values look like? Regardless of what assumptions you make, there's no way they should look like these guys are going to show they look like. There's just going to be some really weird patterns, and this is something that comes out in literature after literature. And they're really going to focus in on this critical value of 0.05, 95% significance, just because there's so much what's the right word? It's like fetishistic. There's this obsession with 95% significance, and there's a feeling that a lot of researchers have that if they don't have a result with 90 that isn't significant with p less than 0.05, it's unpublishable, it's irrelevant, no one will be interested in it. So they're going to focus on this. There's a couple reasons why you would have bias and only certain results would get published. One is editors and referees. Editors and referees may just have this notion that only results that are significant at 95% are worth publishing. Given that, authors may only submit results that have a certain pattern of significance or have p-values less than 0.05. So maybe there's no manipulation going on, but there's the file drawer problem. So there's the sort of so-called cross-study bias problem, meaning I have a whole bunch of results. I only send the ones off that are significant. The others stay in my file drawer. Then there's the possibility of manipulation in a given data set and with given data. So actually my result isn't significant. There really is no effect. And I manipulate the data to get a p-value just less than 0.05. This is a real quote. You guys should just take a minute and read it. This is a quote that Jeremy Weinstein, a professor of political science at Stanford, presented a couple of years ago in a conference. So maybe you guys can just take a second and read this quote. This is from a real referee report. He won't say who got it, if it's him or somebody else, but he swears this is a real letter, from a journal. So basically, what the editor is saying is, the paper, gosh, this it's a pretty important question. That's good. They get at a causal impact. That's great. I mean, it's a pretty important question. There's some causal evidence on it, but the lack of results, and that's what this means. The lack of results, meaning not everything is significant as we hope, really weakens it. What you really need to do is generate new results by looking at some subgroups, looking for some heterogeneity, so I can actually say there's a result in this damn paper and publish it in, if this was either AJPS or APSR or something like that. So this was a couple years ago. This is normal. This stuff happens. And it's sort of sad. You might think papers would get judged based on the quality of the question, the quality of the design, the quality of the data, the importance of the finding. And if you find there's no effect of something that theory says should have an effect, you might even think that's more interesting. Holy cow, we're actually learning something here. We're not just confirming our priors. So anyhow, this is a concern. This is now. This is sort of what we're up against. So let's just turn to the political science literature. This is a histogram of z-statistics for the point estimates in these papers published over 13 years in American Political Science Review and American Journal of Political Science. No one had done this before in political science. There had been a number of papers looking at these kinds of distributions of p-values in other fields, including econ, medical research. Apparently it was quite novel in political science. And they asked the question, is there smoothness? If you look at the distribution of p-values, are they smooth around 0.05? And again, any normally occurring distribution of p-values would be smooth around 0.05. And they reject smoothness at the 1 in 32 billion level. So what does that mean? That means if you look at and these are z-statistics, so the key point is going to be here at 1.96 or 2, right? So these are the more significant results over here on the right, less significant on the left. The results with z-statistics less than 1.96 are not significant at 95%. These are significant at 95%. And there's this incredible jump at that point. There's 3 times as many studies here as here. There's another paper by the same 2 authors that came out the same year. They basically did this for political science and sociology. They wanted to just get articles in the leading journals, get hundreds of articles over a decade, and plot this out. And they find the same thing. So now instead of 3 to 1, it's 2 to 1 in the sociology journals. Here, just somehow visually, it seems particularly, again, stark, where you have this incredible jump. So for some reason, papers get published with p-values of 0.049, but not 0.051. And that's some combination of those 3 factors we talked about. Editors, file drawer problem, not sending things out, and data mining.